Hey everybody, this is Grace. This video I'm going to talk about this series because it's kind of interesting what's going on now. Let me get to that. I checked, and one of the first videos I had made was on a different channel as a part of this hypothetical fictional stories, series of hypothetical fictional stories, was in 2019. But that's just one of them I checked, and I think there was a few before then maybe. But I've been writing little hypothetical fictional stories, just not part of this series since before then. And as far as uploading them, I've been writing them even longer, but as far as uploading them. And on this one, the one that's combating pure evil, that one I uploaded on this one, at least the last time, was, when was it? Last year. But I made it, I don't know how long before then, probably over a year or so. But anyway, that one itself it's a little funny because recently I got stuck on watching these, when it comes down to drama channels, when it really malicious gossip, drama, whatever commentary, whatever, there are a variety of them. And I've done that, I've mentioned it before. Off and on, it seems like seasonal, I would watch them a little bit over years, okay. My first time online, anything you would consider a social media platform, was 1990. So it's been years I've been seeing these kinds of things, and even in IRL, in real life. It's all real life. But I was on something else before then. But anyway, one of the things is this kind of thing is nothing new. That's what I'm trying to say. And this certainly isn't the more recent ones. It's lather, rinse, repeat. And but just different platforms over the years. But basically, some people say some things and some people go up against them. They make comments about it, and there's a big old mess battles and against one another and all that kind of stuff. Draws people in. I can certainly see how things get, draw people in. It's not long before any kind of social media. So, but anyway, this one recently, I understand how people get drawn in. I certainly do. And I wanted to see, is good going to win over evil? But what's the good and what's the evil? It can come into question, especially if the the good gets cocky, okay, and maybe they always were kind of haughty, cocky, arrogant. My voice is going out, by the way, as usual. But why I'm saying that the connection here is that my series started off as this is what's going on. It's totally hypothetical fictional, and that what they're doing is trying to combat evil. Okay, so right there, the title, it says it. And it's just, what I'm seeing lately is more of that. It's just like that's the same thing, You see what I'm saying? Okay, anyway, I got kind of drawn into that, but I have been writing more of these. Writing part of it is easy for me. Okay, the storyline just develops, and I just handwrite it. Just zoom, 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 zoom. I was a career student, so taking notes back then, we didn't do them on our laptop computers. We hand wrote them. I actually took shorthand when I was a kid, but I didn't use shorthand. I don't think I could even do it. But I got used to writing really fast being a career student, college, university, mainly university. I moved around a lot. I went to different places, so different colleges at first and then universities. But anyway, writing quickly is my thing. So I'm thinking it and I'm just writing. That's the easy part. Trying to make it into rough draft videos, the highlights and stuff, that's not easy. It's not. And then some of them I tried on, I've done on PowerPoint. Definitely not easy. To condense so much, into those PowerPoint slides and all that. Yeah, it takes time. That's what takes the longest, really. And but the videos is tough because, for one thing, I mean, I could sit there and read those, but why would I want to do that? I want to add some more to it, and it gets just messed up, you know. So anyway, I call them rough drafts. You know, playing with the words, but yeah, they are pretty bad. I'm well aware of it. My videos usually are, you know, in my own view, but not all of them sometimes. But anyway, tomorrow things might change on that respect, and that, because this time I'm going to not just buy this stuff, but I'm going to try to use it, and that is insulin. So the last time I bought it, I threw it away. The only time I ever purchased it, I just threw it away. It's scary to me because of my adrenal disorder. How is my body going to react to it? Because I'm allergic to practically everything that, I mean, of course not everything, but, and not even practically, I'm allergic to a lot of things. Medications they've tried me on and all that. So tomorrow I'll see, and that might change a lot. I do know that when my my glucose level it's not even normal. It just gets lower than what it is. It's not, and that is not even normal. Like I meant that. That's too high. But when it does, I get down, like a feeling of being down, not depressed, but just down. So I wonder what I've been wondering what that means. I've said it before. I'm my own best case study, you know. But I do wonder, and so tomorrow I go and get that, and they're going to actually show me. This is what I've been trying to get them to do. Actually show me how to do it, as in injecting it all the way through and answer my questions. I have such a difficult time getting any healthcare professional I've been to for years to answer my questions. It's like, what are you, just prescription renewers? Answer, you know, all of my questions, not just a few here and then rush, hurry, run out the door. No, you know, like a whole sum total of 2 minutes. So I need to write the list of questions today, so I have them tomorrow, and we shall see how that is. And it does make me nervous. It does make me nervous. So anyway, my stories, the way I say them, maybe I'll get back to some, you know, I mentioned before that I taught at college and university. Hopefully this will help me to get clear, you know, to follow, you know, not to be so stream of consciousness kind of thing, go with the flow, but to be more organized, I'm hoping. But you never know, you know, it's been such a way of life for me for so long. And but I don't know, like this, I started off talking about my series and now I'm talking about this, but all of it is combined. So we'll see if, you know, there's some kind of difference, or if I just totally stop it altogether, you know, stop making them. I've kind of wondered about that too. Is the reason I do this because of, you know, I'm not a healthcare professional or provider, so mine is only speculative, and what is going on with me and what I think it is, which I'm thinking through the fog, the diabetic fog. So that I have, I'm not saying it's anybody else, you know, read the disclaimers, description box below this video on YouTube. I think they still say that. I've noticed recently, I had taken a bunch of my videos and put them on private, and I noticed that the description part of them that I had put in more than one channel, the description part is gone that I put in. Well, I have ones that are automatically, usually, they don't always happen. Like when I upload it, it'll have my usual one, and then I'll add on to the top of it, add more of a description on that video. That part is what has disappeared. I'm like, really? And it seems, I don't know how long it is, but it's, like I said, more than one channel. Because, you know, like these videos I've been making are on more than one channel. And the series of stories. So when I go back and that part is gone, what's up with that? You know, really, what's up with that? And going around in circles. But like I said, tomorrow I find out and, you know, see how that goes. And hopefully, you know, they've told me before, you can't be allergic to this. I'm like, really? Do you know my body? Because this is very rare. It's rare. I think they put it as rare. Not very rare, but rare. When you have like a few in a million or so, you know, just like a handful or a couple handfuls, something like that. In a million, I would say that's very rare. But hey, I remember one time before, it was something like maybe 10 or less in 33 million. But it's mentioned that as time, that was way back in the 90s, I think. As time has gone by, they're finding it more and more and more in people because of the, you know, things like the CTs and the scans and all that. But that is not as uncommon as it used to be. So it's rare. So there you go. But I remember the first time a doctor told me that you can't be allergic to Benadryl. And I'm like, really? You know? Why do I have these weird reactions? But I mean, yeah, I still take Benadryl when I need it. So anyway, boy, I'm rambling. Let's see how this changes tomorrow. I'm going to try to do this. You know, once I get back home tomorrow, I'm going to, if nothing goes wrong, let's hope nothing goes wrong, but I'm going to do a video and see if, you know, I'm going to check my glucose, of course, and then see if I'm clear, you know, if I'm more organized. Now I have to say this, I do feel like I need to say this. When I listen to live streams, I think they're a lot worse than I am. So distracted, they go, you know, if you get through the first 30 minutes of hellos and how are you doing and that kind of thing, some of them have been that long. They're just saying hello, you know, people that are more popular, they're saying hello to everybody, and everybody's asking them questions and they're answering those that have nothing to do with what they were going to talk about. And it's like, wow, let me skip, you know, I'm just going to come back and watch it later on whenever it's gone to video and skip through all that. But then you think, oh, I'm going to miss something. Well, it's not all that important. You know? I used to do live streams. I've done the live streams in these 7+ years, my original channel. And I don't think I spent that kind of time saying hello and all that to everybody. You know, a general hello everybody should cover it. But no, I mean, I understand why they think that's being friendly, but the people who are watching are like, come on, you know, because people are complaining. Said, come on, get to the topic. You know, stop reading the chat. You know, various people too. So mine is just minus all the hello everybody's for 30 minutes. You know, seriously. But anyway, this hopefully, I'm hoping everything comes out and I can take it. And I'm not scared of injecting myself. No, I mean, I have been years of, you know, having to test my glucose, many years. And as far as injecting, I think I'll be a little nervous, make sure I get it right, you know, this kind of thing. But overall, I doubt I'll be that, you know, that's the issue. It's what's going to happen once it's in my body is what is more of an issue to me, you know. How will my body respond to it? And they have told me, you know, different ones that this is not going to do that. It's not going to be a problem. You know, so hopefully they know what they're talking about. And hopefully they won't try to put me on the highest one. I'm telling you, doctors over the years have tried to put me on I used to say, call them horse pills. You know? And my body was like, no, that's too much. So, okay. What else was I going to talk about besides just rambling like this? But I really want to see if I stop rambling. I really do want to see if it clears up this fog and I can think straight and I can get things without getting down. That's another thing I worry about, is that of getting down. You know, what is that? I've had a doctor tell me that before. I'm not asking anybody here, but I've had a doctor tell me that before about it. For me, how it works for me. Remember, this is about me. I'm not trying to tell anybody, give anybody any advice. None of that. This is just me. I've had somebody, I've told that story before, but anyway, you know, it was more of my body just trying to get adjusted to it being lower. I was on a medication that was doing fine, but every once in a while it would drop it down real low. That's what I worry about. And when, you know, dropped down my glucose level really low, and that was bad. I did it a few times. It was bad. But that was the one I was allergic to, and it caused me to lose some of my back teeth. 2.5 years, doctors, and I had stopped counting at 21 different healthcare professionals that I had seen, and I stopped counting. There were more after that, and they couldn't figure it out over 2.5 years. They never even suggested it could have been a medication I was on that I am allergic to. I had to figure it out myself, and I did. Quit taking that medication. All of the symptoms went away. All of them, including something growing, which turned out to basically be a rash. They were just calling it contact dermatitis. And I must have touched something. No, what I touched was a medication. It really upset me that it took me to figure it out, and I'm not a healthcare professional. You know, after all that many healthcare professionals, healthcare providers, and they could not even suggest that, you know. Yeah. So, and I'm one to say we should believe in the professionals, and I mean it. You know, we don't know more than the doctor. We don't know more than the nurse. But sometimes they could be wrong. Sometimes they could not, well, we know sometimes they can be wrong. I would say it's very rare, very seldom. But that of 2 minutes, that may be a problem. It might just be a problem. 2 whole minutes. Then, and just not thinking about that. That could be what that is. You know, like the other day, one of them told me, you know, I get dry skin in the winter. I'm not used to low humidity. I grew up on the Gulf Coast. I don't know if that makes any difference whatsoever. But when I'm not a healthcare professional, but whenever, having moved up here, when the winters started really changing, and the humidity started getting really low, like this week, we have already beautiful weather starting today, or a little bit yesterday, but after some really bad weather, and the humidity is only going to be in the teens. Oh my goodness, I have a humidifier in one of the rooms that I have a TV in and a bed in and a chair and all, you know, this kind of stuff. And because that room, I put it in there, the house is really big. So, and that room is, you know, it's enclosed. I'm not telling anybody to do this. You know? But anyway, the humidifier, I put it in there, and I told the nurse that, you know, when I showed her my skin, I knew it was dry skin. I knew that this dry skin cracking is cracking, and yes, nothing I'd use because of my allergies and stuff. It can make it worse. And she says dry skin, like I didn't know that, but you know. And then I said, well, I do have a humidifier, and I've started to say it. She goes, no, and I'm like, that's when my brain goes, nope, no. You know, that's when I start questioning, what is it? Because a lot of times these doctors seem like they see me as a challenge. People in my whole life seem like they have seen me as a challenge. And ooh, look at the bird. Oh, you can't see it. It's a little bird in front of me. I think it's yeah. Oh, flew off. But anyway, distraction. That's a bird moment, not a squirrel moment. But anyway, you know, people just see me like it's a challenge, but I could turn that inwards and say they see me that way. But I do know the type that they will, it's not that they see people as challenges so much as they want to be the ones that say, actually, remember all the videos I made about that? People, you can say the sky is a beautiful blue today. They'll say, well, actually, it's more like a, And sometimes they leave the actually, it's just implied. They leave the actually out. It's implied, though, to anything a person says. They do this constantly. I know some, oh my goodness, a family of some. And not mine, but yeah, I've seen that. And when somebody does that, it's like, nope, no thank you. Don't want to be around you. So after tomorrow... I tell you, I really do. I know I don't know this for certain, but I do wonder if I go to some little country town somewhere that's far away from the big cities, and to where that they're just practicing there. Many of them around here, they practice in both. They find a small town and they find the big city, and they practice in both. I don't want that. I don't want anybody practicing in the big city. I want to try people out in the country, you know, and see if they're any better. Because my experience when I went home, back to my old hometown, which is just more of a town, and was that the one I saw there I had to see took her time 45 minutes. Yeah, and she did thorough, you know, asking me questions, really listening to me. 45 minutes worth. You know, and it wasn't that expensive. I was self-paid. Wasn't that expensive. Okay, so I ramble on, and I'm going to, because I'm really quite nervous about tomorrow. Like I said, I'm not nervous about doing injections. I'm not nervous, but I'm nervous about what happens once it's in my body. You know, I might be a little bit about, you know, actually feeling it and, you know, all that, but not as much as what's going to happen. I'll be finger pricking plenty of tomorrow to see, is it going down too low? What's it doing? And like I told Adam, I said, you know, I really look forward to finally being, I don't know how this works. I'm going to ask him tomorrow, but I'd like to be able to eat like a normal person instead of, and that was another thing. She told me something about it. That doesn't even matter. I'm like, well, I'm not going to say what else she said, but that really made me go, you know. Really. And I tried to find an endocrinologist that does work with people with diabetes here, and the first appointments are 10 weeks away, and I try to call, and it seems like you have to do everything online. I don't like that. I don't like when everything has to be online, because I have questions before. Like the last one I called, and they didn't tell me he was not for me. He was not for my condition. Yeah, until after I'd paid him $155. They didn't even tell me then. I found that online. So maybe online might be a good idea. But that was so bad. That appointment was so bad. Unbelievable. And it was over the phone too, telemed. Rambling, yes, I'm rambling. I really want to see what happens tomorrow. I really want to see if I become more normal, which will, well, health-wise, my diabetes at least might get somewhere to normal, and maybe then my brain can actually engage right. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to, like I was saying, to be able to possibly eat closer to what the average person does. You know, not like get a hamburger and take the buns off. There's no such thing as me eating fries or whatever side like that. And I don't drink sugar, as I put it. I don't drink sugar. No. But being able to at least order one, not a regular one, but a diet one. I can drink diet, but not too much. And because the caffeine, I can only have it in the morning. Yeah, see, all these things, I can only do this, I can only do that. Yeah, but if you go to, I'm using hamburger as just an example, because I think more people can relate to it. Like you get a hamburger combo or whatever. But imagine you got to take buns off, you can't get the sides, you can't, drink too much of the caffeine. So what is it? It's just a hamburger patty and some lettuce, tomatoes, onion, and pickle? Yes. So, you see what I'm saying? Right. I want to see if I can. And like I have said for years, I go into a grocery store And I look around, I say about 90+% of this stuff, the food stuff, I can't buy, I can't eat, I can't, drink, I don't drink at all anyway, as far as any alcohol, yeah. But, you see what I'm saying, I wouldn't drink anything with sugar, and quite a bit of it has sugar, and I would just like to be able to, there's something new that comes out. I want to try it. I want to actually eat just a little tiny bit of a piece of a cake. And I'm talking about, I would say, I know for a fact that I was monitoring my diet when I was 12, 13, somewhere around there, because I had written in a diary way back then, And I found it years ago. I don't know what happened to it. But, so I'm thinking around age 10, I was aware, at least, if not before then, probably. I think I probably was when I was, actually when I was in kindergarten. I remember I mentioned that about knowing that I was, me and this one other girl were different because of our height. We were so tall. And so I was aware of it, difference then. This is a combo mess up video, but I'm going to put it up anyway. Maybe I just, after being inside for most of the past week, I guess, yeah, maybe that's just what I needed, was to get out and just ramble a bit. Oh my goodness, it was just been so much because of the cold weather, the ice, and snow. Today is March 1st, 2022. We had another one of those snaps, not bad like last year, but it was bad enough. And, a few times I was able to get out, but overall it was mainly inside. So I needed to ramble. I think I'll put this on a different channel than I originally thought, because, yeah, it's kind of all, that channel is more like, I think people know that I do that. So, anyway, I'm wrapping it up. I think I need to go back inside. I'll talk to you on another video. Bye.